Why did I obsess over taking that wheel off? I really don't know. Did I do it the right way? Probably not. I'm not quite in my game right now. I feel like it's been a long time since I've been out in the shop. Ah, boy. I wore a flat spot in the wheel getting it out into my truck from the dude's backyard. It was probably 125, 150 feet from his backyard all the way to the street where my truck was parked. But looking at it, cast iron side plates. This is the screen. I probably talked about it in a voiceover, that this is if you want to do a finer mesh. This goes up underneath. We'll get to that in a minute. A lot of the stuff on the interweb says this thing's not a very good chipper, but again, it's all in your expectations. It has a chipping chute, so it must chip, right? This right here is cast iron. I'm going to shoot a little schmutz on there. Let's try to get it started. Let's check the oil, see if we have spark. This is probably, I don't know, can I even see that? Pull that shroud off. Actually, I think the numbers are on this side, if I'm not mistaken. But let me shoot some schmutz on here because I want to take a look at things. Yes, right? Looks like it's more of a beat it into submission kind of thing. Maybe you don't have to sharpen those. They don't look like they've ever been sharpened. Maybe they don't get sharpened. I don't know. Where's my brake free? Is this going to get a paint job? Yeah. If I ended up keeping it. Actually, even if I don't end up keeping it, I can pretty much guarantee it's going to get painted. Kind of like the old Rotoho, I would suspect. Alright, enough of this. Let's see what kind of oil we have in this. Check for oil, we'll check for spark. Doesn't feel like there's a lot of compression, but could have a sticky valve. Guys see anything? I don't. Ooh. It's pretty dirty. Should be enough to get it running. Hold on, let me see where's my flashlight. Do I have it in my pocket? Oh, I sure do. Sorry, it's right. It's a little. It would be low in my opinion. It's like right here. I usually like to have it up here at the bottom of the threads, but this will get us a pop. Run it for a couple minutes and then I'll do an oil change. But for now, I didn't even look inside the fuel tank. Let's see what we have. Doesn't look like the original fuel tank. Stinks. Wow, it smells bad. There's fuel in there. Something in there. I don't see rust. That's what I don't see. Can you guys see that better than me? Sorry. But again, it's pretty much no compression. Stuff out of the way here. But if I have to pull the head off and see what's going on, well, I can do that. Pretty complete. I guess this is the throttle, huh? What the hell is this? Oh, yeah, that's the kill switch. Got a wire that goes down. So is this self-governing then? I've seen a lot of these had throttle controls. I don't see anything that checks the throttle other than the governor, so maybe. Doesn't look like there was ever a spot for a lever. A lot of these, at least the few that I've seen in pictures, had something here that controlled the throttle. I'm going with this as a kill switch of sorts. Should we just put some fuel down the hole and see what happens? It's worth a shot. Let me go grab some, I'll be right back. Here it is. So I put some fresh fuel in here from there. I didn't put anything in the tank because I want to drop the tank probably. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see how it runs, but I know that fuel smells funky. But if we can get it to fire, I don't know which way this goes. I'm assuming that's the kill. I'm making assumptions. I just put it up because up seems to make sense. You would push it, I don't know. The plug, haven't pulled that yet. I did grab some spark plug wrenches just in case, but just for funsies, let's throw a little fuel down the carb and let's see if we can make a little noise. There's no compression. Maybe something will loosen up. Maybe not. Like something. We got spark. Now unfortunately it's going to be sucking up that icky gas. Alright, I'll put some earplugs in. I don't like my ears to ring. Let's take my earplugs out so I'm not yelling. I'm going to not drop the tank. There's a very little bit of some kerosene in there. I'm going to shove a rag in there. The tank looks really good. I could probably just add clean fuel on top of that and it would probably run okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that rag in there. Or actually I'm going to get a rag, thinner rag, but mop up as much of that junk as possible, put some clean fuel in there, and I'll bring you right back. So I decided to throw some eucalyptus branches in there. Biggest one's about 1.25 inches. That's the one that initially stalled it out. That is probably the hardest wood that's going to go in there. Other than that, it's going to be pine and cypress. My mom's got a Monterey cypress tree in the back that drops a lot of little branches and actually needs to be trimmed up. So I can make mulch out of that. Considering I've done nothing to this other than fired off, squirt a little penetrating oil on it, it's not bad. It really does beat the crap out of your hands. But that's not horrible to do bedding. I don't have compost piles anymore because it attracts rats and I don't want to deal with that. But I suspect if I put this up under here, that would keep these from spitting out so quickly. You know, the hammers would beat the crap out of this a few more times. Keep them small enough to where they fall through the hole. I think I'd have a much finer, be much finer in Old Carolina. Well, it's not bad though. Guess that one fell all the way through. So now it's time to, I'm going to pull that cowl off. I think this is modern enough engine that it has electronic ignition. I don't think it has points. I gotta figure out where the kill switch is on this thing because that little lever on top of the engine didn't do a thing, but I'm not hating it right now. Change the oil, put a new air filter on it because that sponge is really deteriorated. Get these wheels to roll. Grind a bunch of stuff up this winter and then do what I do. Take it apart, paint it, put it back together. Put a new belt on it too if I didn't say that. The belt looks a little skunky.